And if you remember, we were having issues with the private production of the good. And we were not very sure if we had to just equate the various inverse demand functions to the marginal cost or not. But I got the solutions from the lecture, the one to the high questions. So that is what he did. He equated the individual. Please, can you mute yourself? So these are the various demands by the various individuals, okay? So we have one for K, that is Kwame, Amina, Edmond, Francis, Nana, and the marginal cost of production is 80 plus 4K. So the first question is saying that assuming that we can produce this good as a private good. So if we can avoid people from consuming the borehole, then it means that the good is a private good. So if the good is a private good, then what is the quantity? Okay, the quantity of borehole that can be provided. So we equate the various demand curves to the marginal cost. Then we find the quantity that each person is going to buy. Then we add them. When we add them, then we get the total quantity that will be produced. So let's look at that. All right, so these are the various demand functions for the various individuals. So if the good is being provided under private conditions, then we equate the individual demand functions to the marginal cost. So for Kwame, we equate Kwame's demand function to the marginal cost. So that will be 100 minus 2 kilo equals 80 plus 4 kilo. Then we solve for kilo. Okay, so we'll get a kilo to be a kilo of 20 over 6. So the quantity that Kwame will buy will be 20 divided by 6. Then we go to A, Amina. For the quantity that she will buy, that one we equate PA to the marginal cost. So we have 130 minus 3 kilo equals 80 plus 4 kilo. This we cannot do. You solve for QA, we are getting 10, okay? So please, for the sake of time, when we do 1 or 2, then we'll just jump to the final step since the procedure is the same. So you do it for P to equate that one to the marginal cost as well. Then you solve for Q, we are getting 5. But the only thing is that for some, the demand function was in QA. So you have to make P the subject in that equation. So I think the last two, so from here, you have to make PF the subject. So send PF to the minus 0.25 to the left-hand side, bring Q to the right-hand side. You divide through by 0.25. So we'll get PF to be 160 minus 4Q, and then PN to be 625 minus 5Q. Then likewise, for their demand functions to equate them to the marginal cost, then you solve for Q. So here Q is also going to be 10. I think when I was coming at this part, it didn't come, but from here, QF is supposed to be 10. Then we go to PN. So we equate PN to marginal cost. You solve for QN. We have 545 over 9. Please, you verify the values, okay? So if you want to find the quantity that will be provided under private conditions, then you equate the various skills. So add everything, and hopefully this is the value that we'll get. Okay, so this is the quantity that will be provided under private conditions. Okay. Then the second one is if it will be possible for the consumers to prevent others from consuming the borehole. So if it is not possible for the consumers to prevent others from consuming the borehole, so this one we are talking about a public good. You cannot prevent anyone from doing that. So for the public good, we add the various prices and then we equate it to the marginal cost. Okay. So if you take PK, this is for Kwame, 100 minus 2Q. And then this is for Amina. So we add all the five P's, okay, which are all in terms of Q. Then we equate it to the marginal cost. Okay, equate it to the marginal cost. And then we solve for Q. So here, when we simplify this, hopefully we are getting 1155 minus 18Q equals the marginal cost. So we just group like terms and Q is equal to 48.86. Okay, 48.86. So if the good is a pure public good, then this is the quantity that would be produced. Okay. And then the next question was about the taxes. If the good is going to be financed, yes, Jasmine.
So please, which case do we add all the market quantities before we equate P to MC to get our quantity? Which
Yes,
case is that?
Like which one? Is it these ones?
Yeah, for the private good.
For the private good, is the
Yes, please.
the individual quantities. Okay, you will take each individual demand curve. So if you take Kwame, you equate PK to the marginal cost. So PK was 100 minus 2Q. So equate 100 minus 2Q to the marginal cost and solve for KOK. That is the quantity for Kwame. So you get 20 over 6. Then you go to the PA for Amina, equate that one to the marginal cost. So this is for the Amina, equate it to the marginal cost of 80 plus 4Q. You solve for QA. You do it for E. That one to equate P to MC, you come and get your QA. So when you are done for all the individuals, then you add their various quantities. That's why here we're QK, QA, QE, QF, and then so on.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Any other question? So this one is for the quantity that will be produced if the good is a public good, if they are unable to prevent others from consuming the good. Then the next question was, assuming the thing was going to be financed by the government through taxes, what is the quantity of tax that each person is willing to produce, to pay, okay? Each consumer or individual is willing to pay. Each person is willing to pay their price, their various prices. So if you take PK was equal to 100 minus 2Q. So if you want the tax that Kwame is willing to pay, you put the Q here, the quantity for the public good, 48.86. So you put it into that demand function. So 100 minus 2 times 48.86. The answer that you get here will be the tax that Kwame will be willing to pay. If you go to Amina, you just put the Q, which is 48. Please, can you mute yourself? Can you mute yourself? All right, thank you. So for Amina too, she'll be willing to pay. You just put the Q here, you simplify it. For E, the demand function was 120 minus 4Q. So you put it, so you see, you do it for all the individuals, okay? You do it for all the individuals, then you get the taxes that they are willing to pay. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. I hope you guys have I want us to go through the computational ones first. Oh, yes. Amma, is possible. There are cases where some of them will pay negative taxes. It's very possible. All right. Liz, I'm sure you have the questions, right? If not, we have to be going back and forth. All right, let's look at the question 4. When we are done with the computational ones. If there's time, go through some of the theory. But the theory, you just go through the notes and then you should be able to get all the answers there. All right. Pascal, can you read for us? Oh, Pascal is on here again. All right, so the supply of A4 paper per week by ABC Prints Industry Limited, a public-private venture that manufactures paper products, is described by the following equation. So marginal private cost is given as 20 plus 2K. Okay, this is the marginal private cost. And then the demand, which is the marginal private benefit, is given as 300 minus Q. Okay, and then the production of this A4 paper is causing a negative externality. So the negative externality is given as the marginal external cost, and that one is 40 plus 5Q. So these are the information that we have, MPC, MPB, and then MEC. Okay. So the first question is that, assuming that the good is being produced under competitive market, then what is going to be the price that will be charged, and then what is the quantity that is going to be produced? So if you remember, under competitive markets, we just equate marginal private cost to marginal private benefit. They don't account for externality. So that's what we do for A. And then for B, we want the efficient weekly output. So here they are considering the externality. So when we take into account externality, that's specifically negative externality, then we have our efficient output by equating the social marginal cost to marginal private benefit. And the social marginal cost is the sum of marginal private cost and the marginal external cost. At times they call it the marginal damage. Okay, so we'll do that and then we get the socially efficient one. Then when we are done, we'll look at the C. So let's look at the solution. All right, please, I hope you can see the screen. All right, so our MPC was given as 20 plus 2Q, marginal private benefit 300 minus Q, marginal external cost is 40 plus 5Q. So under perfect competition, we equate MPC to MPB. Okay, so MPC is 20 plus 2Q, then there's 300 minus Q. So just group like terms and then solve for Q. We are getting 280 over this. Now, I normally leave it in this form because it's possible we need a value again to solve for another thing, just to avoid those marginal differences in answers. You just you can choose to write it in decimal form, but there'll be some margin of error. So you can just choose to simplify this. Okay. So this is the quantity that will be produced under competitive conditions. And then the price, if you want to find the price that will be charged, the price is equal to the marginal private benefits. So the quantity that you get here, you insert it into the private marginal private benefit. So it was 300 minus Q. So please check here. I forgot to bring 10. So 300 minus the Q star. So we have 300 minus, just put your Q here, and then you just simplify it. Okay. So this is going to be the price that is going to be charged under competitive conditions. Okay. So it's just simple. You just equate your marginal private cost to the marginal private benefit. Get the quantity under competitive conditions, and then when you are done, you substitute your quantity into the MPB. It doesn't really matter if you put it into MPB or MPC, you get the same answer, but MPB is the price. Okay. All right, that's under competitive condition. Then under socially efficient conditions, we equate social marginal cost to marginal private benefits. But then the social marginal cost is the sum of marginal private cost and marginal external cost. So add the two equations. Okay, add the two equations. So we have MPC was 20 plus 2Q, MEC is 40 plus 5Q. So when we add this, we get 2K plus 5K is 7K, and then 20 plus 40, we get 60. So social marginal cost will be 7K plus 60. Okay. Then from here, we equate 7K plus 60 to the marginal priority benefit, which is 300 minus K. So 7K plus 60 equals 300 minus K. Grouping like things, you have 8K equals 300 minus 60 is 240. We divide through by 8, we are getting 30. So the K star for, so you can call this K star or K efficient. That is 30. If you want price, 300 minus K, so 300 minus 30, that's going to be 270. Okay, so you realize that under the efficient conditions, they will produce less and charge a higher price. Okay, and charge a higher price. So there's the solution for the B. All right, please, any question? All right, let's look at the C. Okay, the C. For the C, we have to calculate the change in consumer surplus resulting from internalizing the negative externality. Okay, so before we can find the CS, we need to draw the curves. Okay, using the curves become easier. So first, you need to draw the initial demand curve, which is the marginal private benefit, and it has to touch the price line, and the axis there. You have to be very careful. If you don't get these things correct, your answer is going to be wrong. So this is how you draw the curve. If you take the marginal private benefit, it's 300 minus Q. On the price line, Q is equal to 0. So this is the intercept. When Q is equal to 0, price is equal to what? 300. So the demand curve must touch the price line where price is equal to 300. Then for the marginal private cost, it was 20. This is it, the intercept. When Q is equal to 0, the intercept will be 20. So the MPC must start from 20. Okay, then this is where they meet. This is where the equilibrium is. And at the equilibrium point, that's the competitive conditions. This was the market price, and then this was the quantity. So if you want to find the CS, remember CS is the portion above the price, the equilibrium price, but below the demand curve. So we are talking about the area of this triangle here. Okay, that's the area of this triangle. So first, we need to find this. And to find this is the area of a triangle is half base times height. So this is the base. From here to here is the base. So the base will be the quantity at the competitive level. Okay, the quantity at the competitive level. And then this is going to be the height of the triangle. And the height will be the difference between the intercept here and then the equilibrium price. Okay, then you just multiply that by your half. Okay, and then we are looking for change. So after they've internalized the externality, this line here is your social marginal cost line. Okay, so this is the new equilibrium point. So if you want to find the new CS after the production of the efficient output, we'll be left to just this triangle here, just this small triangle. So the new CS will be this red triangle here, the area of this red triangle. And then the initial one will be the big one, the green one. Okay, so if you want to find the area for this small one, the base is the new, the efficient quantity. And then the height is going to be 300 minus 270. So find the big one, find the small one, and then you find the difference. That will be the change in CS. Okay, so let's look at how we do that. So the first one, as I said, is half base times height. So half times the base is from here to here. Okay, from here to here. That's the base. So that's the quantity under the component. Please, can you mute yourself?
Yeah, but
Hello, can you mute yourself?
I threw it away to
Oh,
Mute yourself. That's it.
all right. So if you don't mute yourself, I'll just remove you. And if I do so, you can't enter again. So please, I am begging you. Right. So the base is the quantity, the competitive quantity. Okay, that is what we have here. And as I said, the height is going to be the distance between this intercept and then the competitive price. So that is what we have here. So you just have to simplify this, and hopefully, I don't know if my calculations are right. So please, you make sure you verify that. Okay. So that will be the initial CS. That's under the competitive conditions. Then after we do it for the efficient one, this is going to be the new CS. Just this small triangle here. So half times base. The base is 30, and then the height is going to be 300 minus 270. That one is going to be 30, right? So half times 30 times 30. Hopefully, we are getting 450. So initially, this was the CS. This is the new one. So if you want to find the loss, then it's 450 minus the old one. Change is new minus old, right? So 450 minus this, we are getting minus this value here. So there's the loss in CS after they've internalized the externality. Is that okay? Any question? All right. And then the D part, they were asking for the tax that the firm will have to pay in order to produce at the efficient level. This I am not so sure, but this is what I remember. I was trying to confirm it, but I couldn't get anyone. The people I sent it to, they didn't get back to me. But this is what I remember, that the tax is supposed to be equal to the marginal damage or the marginal external cost when you fix in the quantity at the efficient level. So if you take the marginal external cost, then the efficient quantity, you come and put it there. So there's the per unit tax that the firm will have to pay. Okay, just to take into account the externality. If you want to, you don't, there is another question where I'll use the graph to prove why is the per unit tax. But I don't know if you remember under demand and supply conditions, whenever there is a tax, okay, this distance here is the per unit tax. Okay, if you want to find the value here, put this 30 into the MPC. The MPC was what? What was the function? Was it 20 plus 2K? Oh, please, what is the value of the function for MPC?
yeah, 20 plus 2Q.
Okay, 20 plus 2Q, right? So if Q is equal to 30, then this is equal to 80, right? 20 plus 60, that will be 80. So this intercept here is going to be 80. So if you want the per unit tax, is 270 minus 80. and that should give you 190. And that's the exact thing that you get when you put this 30 into the marginal external cost. Okay, so for me, that is what I think, but I am telling you this because I am not very certain of it. So if you guys can confirm it before you go, okay? I just don't want to say anything I am not so sure of. Okay, so please, you can check that out. All right, any question? Now, for the questions on externalities, the type is just the same. It's always like this, and it's mostly negative externality. Who cares about a positive externality? So you'll be given the MPC, but at times, like I think the question 11 or 13, you were giving TPC, total private cost. You have to differentiate it. Let's look at that one. I think that should be that question. Yes, question 11. Okay. For question 11, you were giving TPC, total private cost. So before you can find the marginal private cost, you have to differentiate the total private cost with respect to quantity before you get your the marginal private cost. Okay. So that is the only thing that you might be asked to do. Even they won't even tell you to do that, but you should know that it's the MPC that you need. So if you have TPC, differentiate it and get your MPC. So from here, we all expect ourselves to be able to do the differentiation by this time. So you do this, get your MPC. Under competitive conditions, equate MPC to MPB. Solve for kill. If you want price, you put it into MPB. Under socially efficient conditions, you equate social marginal cost to marginal private benefit. Find your social marginal cost by adding marginal private cost to marginal external cost. Then the resulting function that you get, equate it to the marginal private benefit. Find a new kill, that will be the efficient kill. You go and put the kill into the price or the MPB, you get your efficient price. Okay. So it's always like this. I think it was question 4, question 7, question 9, question 11. Okay, the differences are just about after finding the efficient one, what they can ask, like what we just did. We have to find a change in CS. At times, we have to find a change in PS, producer surplus. Okay, so we have to look at that, and of course, the tax. And then there was a question on we have to calculate the change in welfare or the welfare gain. That one too, I don't really remember the formula, but I remember we'll find total tax revenue, find change in CS, change in PS, your dead weight loss, add something and subtract something. I don't remember, but I know we did all those things. So I don't know if any of you have been able to do that so that the person can help us out. But the first instance, this was the equilibrium condition after equating the MPC to the MPB. So the quantity was, the comparative quantity was 17, and then the price was 66, okay? And then we had to find the socially efficient one. Please check how we draw the curves. For this one, if you check the external cost, the marginal external cost, it was 2Q. So if you add 2Q to this marginal private cost, there will be no change in the intercept. It is just the slope that is going to change. You see that there's no change in the intercept. But the first one, there was a constant here. So we added that constant to the constant in the MPC. That was why we had a shift. There was a shift in the curve, the MPC curve, okay? But here, because there's no constant here, if you add this to this, you only get 15 plus 5Q. There's no change in the intercept, which means that the intercept, the curve, the SMC will also start from where the MPC started from. So that one, if they will be particular about the graph, please, they will check this. So it is starting from 15, okay? Now, initially, this would be the CS. CS will be this red triangle here. So just like we did for the first one, find the area of this triangle here, which is half base times height. The height is the quantity. Sorry, the base is the quantity and the height is the difference between this intercept and the price. So this is the initial one, the initial CS. And then if you want PS, okay, PS is the portion or the area below the price but above the supply curve. So this one here, this big triangle here, this one too is half base times height. The base is still the quantity and the height is the distance here, 66 minus 15. That is going to be the height. Okay, that's going to be the height. So you do that initially for the initial CS and PS. So that's what I have done here. Please, you can verify the values. Then after the tax, okay, when they account for the externality, this is the new equilibrium. So this is going to be the new CS. Okay, it's going to be here. And then the new PS is going to be this side here, this side, this. Okay, so we need to find this value. And I said, if you want to find this value, you put the socially efficient output into the marginal private cost. You see, that is where this output touches that curve. So you put it here. If you put it here, that will give you this value. If you don't get this value, you can't find the new PS. So in case you are asked to find the change in CS and the change in PS, after finding the initial ones, you find the new ones as well. So this one is also half base and height. The base is the socially efficient output, and the height will be 100 minus this. And then for the PS, this is the base, and then there's the height. This minus the intercept. Okay. And then the per unit tax is this one, the difference between this price and this price. And you get the same answer if you put this, okay, if you put the socially efficient output into the marginal external cost, you get the same answer. Okay, so that is how we get the changes in the CS and the PS. And if you ask to find the total tax revenue, that's the area of these two triangles. Okay, so this, the area of this big triangle here. And area of a triangle is base times height. And this is the height. The height is the per unit tax, and the base is the efficient output. And then if you want the dead weight loss, the dead weight loss is these two triangles here. Divide it into two so that you can find the area. If you want this one, let's take this to be A. If you want the area for triangle A, half base times height. Okay, the base here is from here to here. So the difference between 17 and 12.1429. And then the height is from here to here. So the difference between this price and this price. Then you find the area of this one, the A. Then you come and find the area for B. For B,